Your Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohamed, Head of Public Service in Kenya, Dr. Joseph Kenywa, all protocols observed. Good morning. I'd love for you to remember one thing from my remarks this morning, and the first thing is this: never underestimate the power of your presence in a room or in a space. Whoever you are, never ever underestimate the power of your presence in a room or in a space. You never know who's watching, and you never know who needs to tap into that power for something in them to be born or to be birthed. I vividly remember the year 2011. I happened to have been representing Kenya in the African peer review mechanism process when Kenya was being reviewed at the AU Heads of State Summit. And I sat in that room, and I know a number of us know that story. There was only one African woman in the room, and that was Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I sat there, looked around, and of course it is obvious that Africa has over 50% of the population being women. So where are the women? And I just wondered, what would happen if only Africa had a few more women leaders who understand the essence of service, who are competent, who have integrity, and who seek to serve and make a difference in their nations and on the continent? What would happen? And of course, again, I looked around the room, and there were no young people. The few young people who were there were carrying briefcases, and there were no key decision makers or head of government in that particular room. That was a deep moment of reflection for me. And I vividly remember President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf walking to the podium in her beautiful, flowing African dress, and that was the year when Liberia was being admitted to be part of the African peer review mechanism process. And I just said, I need to go back home and start something or get involved in something that is already existing that would mentor young men and women and create spaces for them, or support them to create spaces for themselves to actually thrive and make a difference in all sectors: politics, government, civil society, international agencies, media, all spaces. And I started Emerging Leaders Foundation, and this is just so beautiful. You know why? Because this year, Emerging Leaders Foundation is celebrating 10 years since inception. And this is the same year when the person who inspired that passion and that dream in me, President Sirleaf, is in Kenya and coming, of course, to officiate the launch of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. Like, this is so serendipitous, so beautiful. And so I just wish to repeat that. Never underestimate the power of your presence in a room or in a space. Number two, I do believe that there are many equalizers in life. But as I get older and go on with life, I am learning that one key equalizer in life is mentorship. I am a big product of mentorship. Head of Public Service, Dr. Joseph Kenywa, I know you have met so many people, so I don't know whether you remember meeting me. But in 2006, you actually awarded me Young Female Achiever of the Year 2006 at the University of Nairobi. And then you and I met up later in about 2010, 2011, when Kenya was being reviewed, peer reviewed. And I remember sitting in this room representing young people in this particular process, and Dr. Kinyua pulling me aside and talking to me about the power of a dream. By then, I was just a council member representing young people, speaking for young people. But he pushed me to a different space and opened certain doors for me. That can only happen when somebody has trust in a young person. Let's appreciate Dr. Kinyua. And what makes me really happy about this particular program is that mentorship is a core element of this program. And all the fellows are going to have mentors. Yesterday, one of the sessions we had was with the former head of public service, Ambassador Muthaura, and he shared his wealth of experience, over 50 years of service in public service. That was really, really amazing, and I really urge you to take on the lessons that come with such individuals and wealth of experiences that they bring to the table. I wish to just recognize a few people that have been part of my journey and continue to be part of my journey and the journeys of many, millions of young people in terms of mentorship and guidance. Let me just recognize the Emerging Leaders Foundation Board and Advisory Council. If you're here, just rise to your feet. I'd just love to recognize you. Thank you very much. I honor and appreciate you. Thank you so much. And of course, we have the steering committee of the Public Service Fellowship Program. Very quickly, if you could just stand to your feet wherever you are. We have some representatives here present. Thank you. Thank you very much. And of course, this collaboration wouldn't be without the support of the Public Service Commission of Kenya Board. And so let's also appreciate the Public Service Commission. One thing I would love to stress is about engagement and involvement, meaningful involvement of young people. When we started the creation and co-creation of this particular program, we decided that, you know what, we might be thinking, we understand where young people are and what the challenges are, but no, let's make a moment, let's take time and listen to the young people. What are their issues? What are their aspirations? How do they want to be empowered? Where do they see as being the problem, and what are the solutions they want to create? And through this particular partnership with Emerging Public Leaders, Public Service Commission of Kenya, and Emerging Leaders Foundation, we have co-created this, something that is so beautiful, of course, together with the Chandler Institute of Governance, based in Singapore, that has helped us to put together the curriculum. Kindly just help me to appreciate this particular collaboration. As I come to the end of my remarks, I'd love for us to really deeply reflect, especially for Kenyans who are here, but even for non-Kenyans, this is a good moment of reflection. COVID happened, a number of challenges were faced, and a number of things came up. Many people lost their jobs, women, men, young people, majority of them being young people. And when you go on social media, Twitter, Facebook, we're complaining, crying, and saying, oh, this is not working, this is not working. And sometimes I have seen us sitting back and waiting for help to come from some other place, for people to come and resolve our challenges and our issues in this country. I think that is so defeatist, because we have the power, we have the human resource, we have the capacity, we have everything that we need to create the Kenya that we want to see. And of course, the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship and Program is just a tip of the iceberg. But what would happen if each and every Kenyan, each and every one of us, took personal responsibility and decided to become active citizens, to read and understand the Constitution, to live by the values stipulated in the Constitution, to take care of each other, to promote dignity, what would happen? Just picture that. The help we are looking for elsewhere, or we think some other person will come and bring it here, we have it. We are that help that we need. We are the solution we are seeking for. And so this morning I just want to challenge each and every one of us. Take personal responsibility in our families, in our institutions, in our learning institutions, with the young people and children we get to encounter. Take responsibility to nudge somebody forward, to inspire somebody, to tell a young person that though you failed, that is not final. That is just a stepping stone to your next step in your journey. Because at one point or the other, we all need that voice, that encouraging voice, that nudging push for us to go to the next level. So I urge each and every one of us, let us take personal responsibility and be the ones to build our nation and take it to the next level, because it is possible. Many other nations have done that. We have the power and we can be able to do that as well. So let us take that personal responsibility. Like Wangari Maathai put it, her little thing was planting trees. And I know there are a number of programs like the UNDP through Walid, I see Walid in the room, who are really championing the planting of trees, the Ministry of Environment, and many young people are getting into this. But like Professor Wangari Maathai, she found her little thing, which was planting trees. What is your little thing? Please find it and fan those flames in your heart and keep going. Make a difference. Thank you so much and God bless you.
Thank you. I want to call upon Madam Elizabeth Williams, our very valued partner in this program. Betsy, welcome to the podium. And as she's coming, she is the founder and co-chair of Global Board, Emerging Public Leaders, EPL, based in USA, but now we have adopted you. She is Elizabeth Williams from now on of Kenya. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Miyandi. Your Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, my friend, Cabinet Secretary Amina Muhammad, Head of Public Service Joseph Kenyatta, all other protocols observed. It is my great honor to be here with you today for the inauguration of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship of Kenya, a co-creation of the Public Service Commission, Emerging Public Leaders, and Emerging Leaders Foundation. This is the investment, the seed to nurture the next generation in Kenya, indeed, the world. This journey started 13 years ago in Liberia under very different circumstances when I was working in the Ministry of Health. I observed the impossible task of an ambitious government managing an infinite list of priorities and challenges. I also saw a young generation living in a time of newly restored peace, anxious to be a part of building their nation. The solution seemed so simple: create an open, attractive, and meritocratic pathway for Liberians' top graduates to join the civil service, and then give them the skills, the support, and guidance they needed for a meaningful career. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Madam President, who embraced my idea to launch the President's Young Professionals Program, which endures to this day. Just as important, when we needed it most, immediately following the Ebola crisis, Madam, you chose to invest from your own small budget to ensure the program's success. Today, it is a nonpartisan institution that goes on. It was not my original vision to create a Pan-African effort to strengthen civil service. Indeed, my assumption was that programs like this already existed, and that the one we started in Liberia would link and network with those. But as we all know, investments in people and the institutions of public service, especially in Africa, have been neglected. So we have built emerging public leaders to help spur other efforts, which we hope will recognize the importance of the infrastructure of government, just as much as the policies and the programs, the roads and technologies to deliver. Our world is facing challenges of unprecedented scale, and it will only take strong national governments and coalitions of like-minded leaders to work together to address them. Thank you, Madam President. Your unwavering belief and commitment to the importance of young people and leadership and civil service has created a pathway now across the continent that will realize its full potential. To our partners, this vibrant, amazing coalition that has created the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship in Kenya, congratulations. You have set an even higher standard of partnership. I want to take a moment to recognize the guests who helped us get here. Honorable Nana Ajima Juma, apologies, I've tried. He has been our great leader and father of this program in Ghana. To the Chandler Institute of Government, you have taken our curriculum and together with the government of Kenya, strengthened it for here. To the Hewlett Foundation, represented by David Sasaski, and our other bold donors who have invested in this seed, we thank you. To my board of Emerging Public Leaders Global, and to the boards of the other organizations here. Lastly, to you, the fellows, you have already chosen to serve. You are daring to lead and to transform this country, this continent, this world. My hope is that you start a wave of talent that is as committed to the service of your nation as you are and the world we all live in. Don't forget that relationships matter. Your civic engagement will provide the continuity of leadership and resilience, be it political, economic, that the world will face. I have never been more inspired to be involved in the cause of making sure that government is up to the challenge. Please join me in congratulating our new fellows as they embark on their fellowship and this journey. And thank you again. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Dr. Mary Muyandi, Ms. Elizabeth Williams, and Madam Karen Wakori for that segment. It is indeed a transformative solution and process policy issue affecting the young performers and leaders in government that the fellows are here today. Some 13 years ago, some of the two young leaders seated here today, they sat in this similar auditorium, more or less the similar dais, and by then it was One Kenya, One Dream, the Kenya We Want conference. And those two leaders were telling the government, this is what we think young leaders can do. This is what we think young leaders can do. And today I'm not surprised the two leaders are doing what they told the government the young people can do. Do you know the two leaders? You don't. One of the two leaders is Karen Wakori. And the other young leader is a man called Mike Getone. Both Karen Wakori and Mike Getone represented the young people during the Kenya We Want conference, and we appreciate the support of the public service through the head of public service, Dr. Kenywa, that today the young people have an opportunity to share what they think they can do best. Thank you so much. It is my humble duty now to invite our chairperson, Ambassador Anthony Mushiri, to give us his address. Karibu Balozi.
Hello, can you hear me? That was a nice welcome from the mic. Your Excellency, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia and co-chair Emerging Leaders Program Global. You still have your name as the Iron Lady of Africa. Ambassador Amina Mohammed, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Sports and Heritage. Dr. Joseph Kenywa, Head of Public Service of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Nana Kwasi Ejekum Dwamena, Head of Public Service of the Republic of Ghana. Members of the EPL Board, members of the ELF Board, members of the CAG Board, commissioners of the Public Service Commission and the CEO, principal secretaries and senior public officers present, the pioneer cohort of fellows seated here with us today, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A good morning to you all. Good morning once again. It's a blessed day today. And I do wish to thank all of you for making time to join us this morning to inaugurate the first cohort of 50 fellows under the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. A very welcome to you, Excellency, for agreeing to grace this occasion. You're not new to Kenya. You've lived in this country. You've traveled to this country as the head of state of Liberia. So, karibu sana. To the invited guests and stakeholders from different corners of the world, welcome to Nairobi. And to the 50 matriculants of this program, congratulations for making the cut out of 5,000 applicants. Hongera sana. This is the beginning of a journey, the beginning of your destiny. Allow, Excellency, before I start, to appreciate my fellow commissioners, the CEO and the Secretariat, for it is they who have made this a success. Personally, I've only been in this job for 7 weeks. And I would want them to stand and wave and the crowd to acknowledge them. Please. Thank you. Not to forget the Secretariat is a gentleman called Sylvester Obongo. Mr. Obongo. Sylvester has spent tireless nights the last 3 years and the last 3 months to ensure that we get these 50 people here. And he is the one who will be running with these fellows until the end, together with the backing of all the stakeholders. Excellency, when I was being vetted in December for this job, in early December, by the National Assembly, one member of the National Assembly asked me, "Aren't you too old to be taking this job?" Because I've done 37 years in the service. They told me, "You should be going to look after your cows." I will not share my age. But what I did tell them is, where do I take my 37 years of knowledge? Who do I give it to? Because you can take, this is an African saying, an old cow to the river, but you cannot force or teach it how to take from the river. But you can take a calf to the river and you can teach it how to drink from the river. So, for me, I'll be taking the calves to the river to teach them how to drink from the river. Excellency, a lot has changed in the public service since Kenya's pre-independence years. Just as much as the Public Commission has undergone a tremendous transformation since its inception in 1954. Being the oldest constitutional commission in Kenya, the Public Service Commission, superintendent over post-independence public servants who are driven by a higher calling. Reminiscent in the 60s and 70s, a tradition of belief, loyalty, and service to people and country for the common good and above self. This creed remains as relevant today as he has gone by, and will be driven by a commission that continues to play a critical role in catalyzing and shaping national goals by providing the required human resource framework to attain desired objectives. It is against such a background, Excellency, that this program was developed with our partner stakeholders seated among us today. Thank you so much for being there for us. Excellency, empowered and accountable leaders are critical to a professional and effective public service, which inspires a sense of purpose and drives high performance. It nurtures ethical leadership, able to navigate complexity within a strategic and political context to achieve positive outcomes. An effective leader is able to scan the horizons for emerging trends, identifying opportunities and challenges, and inspiring collective purpose. However, this can only happen within the context of strong institutions such as the Public Service Commission, whose values, code of conduct, and employment principles, all enshrined in the Constitution, reflect an established framework for institutional integrity necessary in maintaining and promoting a strong culture of high integrity, which is crucial to public confidence and trust. This speech is for you, Cohort 50. And I'll share the speech with you. You carry it as a Bible, as you carry a Bible. The public service of the 21st century, therefore, requires a different approach to developing leaders who can embrace the tenets described in this speech of mine. In targeting new entrants into the public service, Excellency, this program, whose rallying theme is nurturing value-driven leaders, has recruited from a variety of sectors within the public service, representing the diversity of the Kenyan population. It is purposely designed to create a collaborative environment that will harness an inclusive culture, valuing, respecting, and representing individual differences in the workplace environment, and thoughts, and enabling participants to provide to their mentors and to their seniors and to their juniors also frank and fearless advice so as to create integrity and impact in service delivery. The participants have, in this instance, been carefully selected to be nurtured and grow and become established, value-laden, citizen-centric, not only public service professionals, but leaders of the next decade, capable of steering this country to a democratically developed economy. Excellency, as I conclude my speech, I wish to point out that these young men and women in front of you, under my watch, will be taken through a rigorous academic and practical program, which has been contextualized to the local perspective. Together with my team, fellow commissioners and the Secretariat, I will ensure that they are exposed to both the global and domestic perspectives of leadership. Issues such as the threat to global peace and order, the environment, terrorism, energy and food security, and the threat to multilateralism will be among myriad issues drummed into them. The challenges facing ordinary Kenyans are numerous, Your Excellency. As such, I will ensure they are taken to the hot valleys of Suguta Marmar, to the shores of Lake Victoria, Turkana and Baringo, to the mangrove swamps of the Tana Delta, to the hot plains of Yatta, and to the Kenya School of Adventure and Leadership in Nyanyuki for physical and mind endurance. All with the aim of imbuing a holistic attitude to Kenya's national interests and placing each one of them in an unparalleled position to bring about constructive changes within their individual self and the entire Kenyan public service. That is my promise to this gathering and the Kenyan public. A promise from the Commission to give you the global leaders and stateswomen and men of tomorrow. I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our very able chairperson, Ambassador Anthony Mushiri, for your candid words and also for the promise that you've given unto our fellows today. Allow me to take cognizance and appreciate the presence of our Chief Financier, Mr. David Sasaki, from the Williams and the Flora Hewitt Foundation based in California. We don't take it for granted for you being with us. Kindly wave to the audience. Kindly stand and wave. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is my singular duty now to invite the Cabinet Secretary, Minister for Sports, Culture and Heritage, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, to invite our chief guest.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. Your Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia and the co-chair of the Emerging Public Leaders Global Board, Dr. Joseph Kinyua, the head of Kenya's Public Service and Secretary to the Cabinet, the Chairperson of the Public Service Commission of Kenya, Ambassador Anthony Mushiri. Allow me to recognize in a very special way the Head of Public Service of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. Nana Kwesi Agyekum Dwamena, Ms. Karen Wakoli, Ms. Elizabeth Williams of Kenya, as you heard, the commissioners of the Public Service Commission, permanent and principal secretaries that are here, the pioneer cohort of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it truly is a great honor for me to be here today at this very auspicious inauguration of one of the most impactful programs ever launched on our beautiful continent. And of course, I was told last night that this is not the first country that it's being launched in by Ms. Elizabeth Williams of Kenya. Let me, in a very special way, thank the Emerging Public Leaders and the Emerging Leaders Foundation, based in Washington, D.C., for their support in establishing this architectural model that will revolutionize public service. I want to thank all the partners, key partners that are here, and who are working with all of us on the continent in nurturing young, value-based public servants. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, through this program, we're sure of injecting new ways of thinking and approach in government institutions that will ensure for all of us greater efficiency, greater transparency, and effect very useful and value-based public service. Your Excellency, Madam President, our Constitution has an entire chapter on leadership and integrity. It's chapter 6. It took us a long way and a very long time to come up with this chapter in our Constitution. And at that time, I was actually very, very fortunate because I was the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Justice. And in coming up with this chapter, we just wanted to make sure that any new recruits into the public service would have to meet certain requirements of integrity, of humility, of honesty, of courage, and things like that. And for me, I think the satisfaction is that today, no one is recruited into the public service without providing evidence of not having been involved in any acts or omissions that would be offensive to public service. Because it's true that one has to believe in public service to serve in it. If you don't believe in it, you can't be part of it. And I say that because I think me and the head of public service, some of the commissioners that are seated here, Ambassador Mushiri, have been in public service for a very long time. And the only reason that we've stayed this long in public service is because we truly believed in it. We wanted to make sure that the work we did for the public, because honestly, you have to forget about yourself most of the time and only think about how that individual, that group, that community that you're serving feels about the quality of service that you're providing. Are you doing it honestly? Are you doing it passionately? Do you believe in what you're telling them that you're providing? Have you worked at it so that it's the best possible service that you're giving? And does it matter who you're giving it to? Who are you providing this service? Does it matter whether it's somebody who's just walked off the streets or it's somebody who sits in a big office, big corporate office, or big public office? Does it matter? It doesn't. It doesn't. I remember walking into the ministry and I was in a small office in the legal department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'd served in one other ministry before. And I found a group of people waiting to be served. What they wanted was an authentication of the certificates that they were carrying so that they could use those certificates to access some service abroad. And I walked in, it was my second day in office, and I looked around at them, and I decided that I was going to start with the oldest. And I would look around for the most vulnerable. And at first it caused quite a commotion. Why would you do that when the youngest has been sitting there for the longest? But it was clear to me that this individual that was the oldest had probably traveled from a very long distance. And they were doing this for their child who was going to travel abroad. And they may not even have the transport to take them back, nor any money for accommodation. And so it came naturally, maybe because I came from a really humble background. So it really came naturally to me that I'll take the oldest, serve them as quickly as I could, and then, go down the line. But honestly, I stuck to that, and the commotion dwindled because it was easy to explain that I wanted to serve somebody who was the same age as my father before I served one who was the same age as I was. And so it really, when you cross that threshold of knowing that actually it doesn't matter who you're serving, but that the quality of that service has to be the same no matter who it is, then the whole issue of integrity, humility, and I know you've been taught about that, self-reflection, right? The courage to act in a certain way, the honesty to always speak truth to those that may be your superiors, when you feel strongly that what they may want you to do is not right. Yeah? When you get there, then you'll never leave the public service because you would actually have stumbled upon the essence of public service, the desire to serve your country, the desire to serve the people that live in your country, whether they be your compatriots or residents of your country. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to a group of cadets a while back. I was invited by the late chairman, may his soul rest in peace. And as I talked to them, I actually realized that some of just the basic practical things that one meets and sees on a daily basis is so critically important to training of public servants that it needs to be emphasized, re-emphasized, repeated over a long period of time. The other thing I'll tell you, and then I'll probably come to the close of my brief remarks, is that remember that every cog in a wheel matters. It doesn't matter how small it is. And in fact, I'll go further than that and say that every cog in that wheel has very useful information, right, for every other cog. And I say this because, and I keep repeating this story, by the way, so you may have heard it, that one of the people that I depended on more than any others in the small office that I occupied when I joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs then, was the lady who served me tea. And what really amazed me was how much information she had. Her son works with me now. But she taught me so much about the public service. I mean, I was really, fresh-eyed, just completed, master's program in a university. And I didn't know the nitty-gritty of, some of the things that I needed to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And she found those things for me. And she taught me how to deal with them. Because she had been in the public service for 20 years before I joined. And so she actually knew how to get information. She knew what kind of file I needed to find in order to draft a certain letter. She knew that a note verbal needed to be written a certain way. She was one of my best teachers. So please don't ever forget that. That clerk who brings you the file every day, that lady who serves you tea and has been there for longer than you have, has information that's critically important. She'll even tell you how to serve people, who to look after first, and how many times that person has been in the office before looking for service, and whether last time they stayed for 6 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours waiting to be served. So I think that if you remember that every cog in that wheel must be attended to and serviced for it to function, for the whole wheel to function, then you'll be in very, very good hands. So let me say something about our chief guest. Her Excellency, the former president of Liberia. Now, you heard what Ms. Okoli said about her, that she walked into the plenary and found only one woman head of government. The former president has served as an example to all African and non-African women. She didn't just serve as president of our country. She fought for the liberation of our country. She did everything she could. She spent every ounce of energy she had to make sure that the democracy she believed in, that the accountability that she believed in, the transparency she believed in, would finally come to our own home country of Liberia. She worked very hard. And if she was to tell you what she had to do to actually get Liberia back on the right track, you'd be completely shocked. And so all of us tried to emulate her. All of us tried to do everything that she did. And of course, we always fell short. And Your Excellency, we're still trying. We hope that one day we'll be able to achieve just a small percentage of what you're able to achieve for your country, for our continent, and for the globe. And we truly celebrate you every single day. It always gives me immense pleasure to see you and listen to you. And therefore, without further ado, let me ask all of you to be upstanding as we request Her Excellency to come and make her speech.
Jambo, please sit down. Dr. Joseph Kenyans, I thank you very much for your presence. Thank you, Ambassador Amina Mohammed, State Secretary for Sports. I told you last night, how pleased I was to see you because it's been a long time since we shared a podium. It's good to see you there again. And let me say the same thing to Karen Wakuli, because she too and I have been in places where we've exchanged, and so just to be here again with her pleases me so much. I want to thank you, Ambassador Anthony Muchiri, Chairman of the Public Service Commission of Kenya, and joined by his deputy, Dr. Mary Bakwendi, for the warm welcome that I received from you when I came to your great country. I want to thank you for the partnership you have embraced, and I know that together with that partnership, you can nurture a new generation of public servants that will drive even more effectively Kenya's development program. Dr. Nana, Commissioner of Public Service in Ghana, let me also give you warm welcome and thank you for what you have done for the effective delivery of public service in your country. Commissioners of the Public Service of Ghana, the co-chair of the Global Board, who has already spoken, distinguished government representatives, members of the diplomatic corps, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's such a great honor to be with all of you today. First of all, let me extend to you a big congratulations. You, the 50 inaugural fellows of the Kenya Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship. I was pleased to learn that of the 5,000 people who applied for the opportunity to join the first cohort, you, each every one of you, were one of the 50 chosen. I'm even more pleased to know that gender parity was achieved. 25 men, 25 women. And I'm told it may even be 26 women, putting them above where they rightly belong. You, all of you, represent the future of your country. Your leadership and the devotion you give to public service will result in meaningful contribution to Kenya's bright future. In this regard, let me say boldly that Africa is the continent of the future. As you know, 70% of our continent's population is under the age of 30, representing the greatest untapped resources for achieving the dreams of the Africa we want and the world that we want to see. As president of Liberia, I recognized that young people would be the key to the rebuilding of our destroyed nation, and quickly took action to recruit young Liberians living abroad to return home and be a part of our country's reconstruction. We then established the President's Young Professional Program to bring together young graduates at home with those repatriated from abroad so that together they could start the processes through mentoring and training to be able to join the transformation that we sought for our country. This initiative became the precursor of the emerging public leadership that we are today proud of as we inaugurate the Kenya program following the very innovative ongoing program of Ghana. I'm proud that small Liberia, under my leadership, was able, with the dynamic drive of the program's founder, who is here with us, was able to start an initiative that through technical training can provide mentorship and impetus to public service, particularly the civil service, which carries the responsibility to ensure effective delivery of the operations and programs and policies of a nation's development agenda. Today, the Liberia Civil Service continues to benefit from the young professionals who have largely remained in service and represent the core quality element of us being able to serve our nation. A few of them have even become role models, and we want to honor them even though they're not here, so that they know that we would like them to know how much we appreciate them. Sierra Stephen Edwards in the Foreign Ministry Passport Management, who changed the whole system of the issuance of passports to false people. And also Dr. Moses Zia in effective and timely response to COVID-19. They were exceptional in their service, and we applaud them. As you fellows begin this incredible journey, I hope that you will take advantage of every moment, the many professional development opportunities that this program will provide to you. To the already emerged leaders here, I hope you will make every effort to give these emerging leaders the chance, the space, the voice, and to be alongside you as together you serve. You bring to them the personal experience, and by doing so, you help to elevate public service to that which is the highest honor that can be given to anyone that serves their country. To be able to serve your fellow citizens, to listen to their concerns, to work to transform a nation, to be able to stand firm for what you believe in is what we want to see in all of those who serve us in the public service. Today, our world and our continent face many challenges. Democracy and multilateralism have been under threat as global cooperation and unity have shifted to nationalism, exclusion, and populism. Even today, we find a further extension into war that the world has not known for decades. We also have COVID-19 pandemic threat, albeit diminished somewhat, with vaccine inequities of continuing concern, even as we face the uncertainties of climate change. But Africa has demonstrated resilience to many adversities. Many of our countries have advanced to growth, and through growth, to become today's emerging economies. Dr. Kenywa, please pass on to His Excellency, the President of Kenya, that we applaud him and all of those who serve in Kenya and the Kenyan people for their cooperation, that today Kenya falls in that category of emerging economies. We applaud you for that. Let us in Africa celebrate our success and commitment, our hard work and diligence that we see in our public service. Let us engage and applaud all of our continental institutions, and let us become aware of those that represent the impetus of our unity and cooperation, such as the Continental Free Trade Agreement, which we hope to deepen our regional cooperation and integration toward the aspirations of the goals set forth in our Africa 2063 agenda for the Africa that we want. Today, this is why I'm so excited to be here today representing emerging public leaders, our 5-year goal to achieve a Pan-African network of 750 young public service professionals working towards a qualitative tipping point of good governance. For good governance is what we seek in all of our countries. Public service with integrity, with commitment, with devotion, with hard work, and with a certain humility, even when they have achieved their highest goal. May you represent those qualities that we seek and the qualities that we applaud as you continue to serve. Congratulations again to you, the inaugural class of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellows. May your journey be fruitful for yourself and for your nation, the nation of Kenya, and for our continent of Africa. It is truly an honor to be a part of this celebration, this milestone for every Kenyan and African, made possible by the Kenya's government and excellent Public Service Commission, all represented here by the chairman, by the commissioners, and by all of those who serve the commission. To them, we owe the gratitude for us being able to be here today. We thank the partners, the Hewlett Foundation, the Chandler Institute of Governance, Emerging Leaders Foundation, and all of those who globally assisted effort. May this be for you the beginning of a great career, the start of a journey that you've already started as public servants, but where you seek to climb to a higher level of service and a higher level of personal achievement. Thank you.
Let us give a more heartier clap to Her Excellency. Thank you so much. Please be seated. Thank you so much. We take cognizance and appreciate your motherly advice to all of us, the zeal and the energy that you've showed unto us as public service. And we don't take it for granted. All that you've shared with us, with your vast knowledge, articulation, we thank God for you having you with us here today. We've sat for more than 4 hours. I will request that we be upstanding. It is a celebration day for the 50 of us, and the rest of us will be joining us later. So I will invite the choir and the band to give us one track to Shangilie Kenya. Please be upstanding. Let's clap together. We know we love our country. It is a privilege to be born in Kenya. To Shangilie Kenya. Public Service Choir and the Roach Band to Shangilie Kenya. Tuende kazi. Even the cohorts for the first timers. Yeah, I can see one of my colleagues here dancing like nobody's business. Bila jasho. Unapiga tu makofi. Maana Kenya ni nchi tunayoipenda.
Hatutaki matata Kenya. Hatutaki matata Kenya. Wenzangu Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele. Wenzangu Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele. Oh Kenya kipenzi chetu chenye upendo. Hatutaacha Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele. Kipenzi chetu hatutaiacha milele na tumeapa sote wananchi wa Kenya kutumikia Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu hatutaiacha milele daima. Nikienda nje sisahau Kenya na nitabaki Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu hatutaiacha milele. Sitaiacha Kenya nchi yangu. Umoja wetu Kenya tudumishe. Nitatetea haki za Wakenya. Wala sitapotoshwa na wabaya. Hey!
Your Excellency, that song is about the love that we have for our country, and how much we appreciate it, and it's just an expression of our patriotism and nationalism. Thank you very, very much for joining us in that wonderful dance. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by conveying the greetings, a message of congratulations to our first cohort from Her Excellency Professor Margaret Kobia, who was supposed to be with us here today, but is attending to other equally important work in New York. The CSW is on, and she led the delegation of our country to the CSW, but I've conveyed her greetings, and if we have accepted them, then let's at least show her that we have. Thank you. Thank you. Let me recognize the chairman of our Anti-Corruption Commission, who is here. Could you please stand up? Mr. Bukala. I'd like to ask the PSCs who are here to also please be upstanding so that we can recognize them and thank them for being here. If there are any other commissioners from other commissions that are here. Okay, thank you very, very much. It really gives me a great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who will be delivering His Excellency the President's speech. Dr. Joseph Kinyua is a consummate economist. He is an astute public servant. He has served our country without hesitation, with total commitment, with amazing energy, passion, and patriotism. He has served our country with dedication and made a difference in the lives of millions of Kenyans, and he does this on a daily basis, and his day is almost 23 hours long. I know that because I have called Dr. Kinyua at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he picks up my phone, and he would be very, very busy working on a document. He would be working on it at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I just wanted him to know today, since I have this wonderful opportunity, that he truly is the pillar around which the public service of Kenya rotates. And as I invite Dr. Kinyua to come and read the speech, I just want to tell him again that we're really grateful for his service to our country and to the people of this great republic. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I believe that we are already in the afternoon. Your Excellency Aaron Salive, former President of the Republic of Liberia and co-chair of Emerging Public Leaders Global Board, the Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Ms. Elizabeth William, also co-chair of the Emerging Public Leaders Global Board, Mr. Nana Kwasi Dwamwena, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, the head of the Public Service of Ghana. Please, if you can start, everybody knows you. We do appreciate you. Ambassador Muchiri, the chair of the Kenya Public Service Commission, Ms. Karen Wakori, executive leader of the Emerging Leaders Foundation. I really appreciate that you have been able to move that far. You are catching up with us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will take this opportunity first before I deliver the statement of the President to pass his word of appreciation to you, Your Excellency, for affording the time to be able to join us for this historic occasion, and also to all those other Kenyans who have come to see these young men and women that will be the drivers of the future of this nation. He would have loved to be with us, but due to some other commitment that was making it difficult for him to be with us, he did request me for you to understand and for me to deliver his statement on his behalf. So the statement I'll be reading, it is not my statement, it is your President's statement. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It would have been good morning when he was to be with us. It is a distinct honor and high privilege to join you today as we herald a new dawn for our public service through the inauguration of the first cohort of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Program. We are privileged to have with us a career civil servant who rose through the ranks to become Africa's first female president. We really admire you, Your Excellency, and indeed, we use you as an example to challenge. Even our own Kenyan have been challenging Akina Amina here. Why do you want adjustment? Why can't you ladies come together and say, we need now to see a change in this country? Please join me in welcoming Her Excellency Erin Salif, the Co-Chair, Emerging Public Leaders Global Fund. Please, if you can clap for her. Your Excellency, we thank you for honoring us today and for the inspirational leadership you continue to offer to the next generation of leaders in Africa through this program as well as the African Women Leaders Network. Ladies and gentlemen, since the dawn of our nation, the civil service has been the backbone of our democracy, governance, and the delivery of the shared aspirations of our people. Highly competent, apolitical, and driven by the desire to selflessly serve, Kenya owes a great debt of gratitude to the men and women of our public service. Through their hard work and excellence, Kenya has grown from strength to strength. Not satisfied with resting on its laurels, our civil service has sought to continuously reform and improve itself, a mission steadfastly supported by His Excellency, administration. In that regard, I am most pleased to congratulate the pioneer cohort of 50 young public servants who have been selected to this prestigious program from a list of 5,000. You must have done so well to be able to emerge from that big number of applicants and to be the people who are going to begin this journey of shaping and changing the face of this nation. I thank Emerging Public Leaders of the United States, Emerging Leaders Foundation of Africa, and the Chandra Institute of Governance of Singapore for partnering with Kenya's Public Service Commission to design and deliver this transformative program. Ladies and gentlemen, the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program seeks to nurture, as we have also been told by the previous leaders, the next generation of sector leaders, public sector leaders, to transform Kenya's public service and make it more effective, ethical, service-oriented, citizen-focused, and results-driven. This is the message, young men and women, you need to really appreciate. Don't admire those guys who want to drive in Mercedes-Benz where you may not be sure how they have gotten it, whether it is by denying us quality roads, denying us quality health service. That is not the type of leadership we need. Public servants today are heirs of hard work and dedication of the foundation generation of public servants at independence. That pioneering generation was motivated by a strong desire to serve and to make a difference in the lives of their fellow Kenyans, and not desire for personal gain. That is the legacy of the first generation of public servants. I urge today's foundational cohort to emulate those path breakers. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 20 years, we have made significant progress in modernizing our public service. The performance management system has strengthened the effectiveness of the public sector, creating a sharper focus on results and impact. Accountability have seen increased through systematic stakeholder consultations at critical stages of program development and implementation. Further, the Kenya School of Government has evolved into an effective training, retooling, and upgrading institution of public servants. The present program will fill a gap in the development pipeline that creates future public sector leaders. It will provide these leaders with the broader set of skills that are necessary to successfully manage the public sector in a more complex and ever-changing world. We have, ladies and gentlemen, adopted this program because, first, we recognize that an open democracy such as ours requires fundamental orientation of the public sector. It demands that the voices of citizens are heard and incorporated into national action. It puts the citizen at the center of service delivery, and it expects the public sector to be responsive to a wide range of needs and aspirations. This calls for public sector leaders with a strong service orientation and strong interpersonal skills. Secondly, increasing demands on the public sector requires better utilization of the limited national resources. Emerging public service leaders, therefore, must be champions of efficiency and value for money by developing and implementing innovative, cost-effective service delivery solutions. This indeed is so important, and I'm double sure the message that was coming from Her Excellency, and those of you who may want to ensure you appreciate from other countries' experience. I always, Your Excellency, when I have an opportunity to meet with young people, to help them to appreciate, look at a small country called Singapore. You know, when you are trying to go to Singapore, as you get towards landing, you wonder whether will you land on the land or in the water. It's so tiny. Yet, because of what Her Excellency indicated, good governance, appreciating that there's no part of the world where resources are, flowing in an unlimited manner. Don't be deceived. Even the giants like the United States, where Elizabeth comes from, it is not that, they have resources which are, no. It is a question of better utilization of those resources, avoiding doing what should not be done, but focus on those resources being applied, which is what that small country called Singapore did under their founding father of that nation. Good governance, cohesion. You as young men and women, don't be told you are this color in terms of those things we call tribes. They are nothing but just things that will lead us to nowhere. Singapore, the leadership recognized cohesion, unity, underpinned by good governance, even though they don't have the resources. They don't have land to say they are going to do the farming like you do, but you never hear Singapore saying, our people are going hungry, we are going to. Yet they have been able to tap and utilize the limited resources they have. They have the manpower, they have the water surrounding the island, they have made optimal utilization of those, and because of good governance, that country has income per capita comparable to the United States. Can you imagine? We in Kenya are crying. How can we? When you have a country like that one which does not have any levers, they hear about agriculture by way of reading in agricultural, books, but not that it is what they do. Yet they don't have that kind of a problem. That shows the importance of good governance. Further, they needed to be trusted custodians of public resources who ensure that all their actions are underscored by integrity, transparency, and accountability. Third, the public sector of the future must operate in an increasingly interconnected world. Tomorrow's public sector leaders need high information literacy and an understanding of how events a notion away can have significant domestic repercussions. You have seen what has happened with the COVID-19 pandemic, the recent developments where those two people are fighting for what we do not really see, the need, yet now they have caused us who were not part of their problems, the problem. So you need the people who can be able to anticipate and see those issues and be able to ask yourself, what is it that we can do to ensure whatever negative impact might arise, we can be able to repass that as far as our country is concerned. So in addition, ladies and gentlemen, emerging leaders need to be responsible global citizens. That is the essence of what we are trying to say. They need to understand that we have a responsibility to share the planet and our shared humanity through concepts such as sustainability, environmental protection, and respect for human rights. These and other basic values, while formerly seen as being outside of the scope of the public service, must now be integrated into all programs in the public service. Thankfully, digital technologies give this young generation, unlike ourselves when we started, of leaders, unique set of tools that previous generations did not really have. Through digital technologies, emerging leaders can network with their peers across the globe, share knowledge and experiences, and process information faster and more efficiently. We expect that this training program will build the technology skills of these young people to the fore and hone their innovative and problem-solving skills. I encourage the Public Service Commission to review ongoing mid-career and senior leadership training programs to ensure they provide the requisite skills to build a public sector of the future that is fit for purpose. As I close, let me address my comments to the first cohort of the training program. I wish you success as you embark on this program. You have been given a rare opportunity. Some of us are salivating, wishing if we could go back to our young days so that we can be able to be where you are. Help our nation deliver on the hopes and aspirations, past, present, and future generations of Kenyans. Do justice to this historic mission. As Albert Einstein said, only life lived in the service to others is worthy living. Let those words, when you're going to bed and when you're waking up, always ring. Ask yourself which is what Madam Amina was putting forward to you, and Her Excellency, what is it that I have done to make life better for that citizen? not what I have done to only embellish my stomach. It is what you have done for that. Only a life lived in the service to others. And if you allow me, I'll just demonstrate. I always recall, Your Excellency, when I first started working as a teacher at the University of Nairobi, but I didn't take too long. I stayed for 2 years and decided to change and join the Central Bank of Kenya. And when I was in the Central Bank as a young fellow, we had these economic policies. Then, if you wanted $1, you don't just walk to your bank. You have to make an application. There was some team in the Central Bank and Minister of Commerce and Industry then, and the Treasury, who would decide whether you can be given that dollar or otherwise. So one day, along the corridor on the 4th floor of the CBK building, I find an old man walking, looking miserable. So I asked him, "Can I help you?" I greeted him and asked him, "Can I help you?" Yeah, then he told me why he was there. He told me I had just come to follow up on an application we made for foreign exchange for fee for his kids who were out of the country undertaking their studies. And he had taken a whole week. He had come from the village in Kisumu. And this man told me, "I really don't know how I'm going to be able to continue to be here because I have been here for a whole week. Today is Friday. I've exhausted even the little resources I had. So I may have just to go back and forget, and the children will have to find their own ways of survival." I took the courage, although I was just a young fellow, just a young junior officer. But I took the courage and I told him, "I'll take you to the head of the Foreign Exchange Department and explain your misery and see whether they can do anything." So when I went in and I told, he was very good welcoming to me, even though he never knew me. Of course, I introduced myself that I'm one of your officers here, but in the research department, and explained to him the challenge that old man was having. He called for the file, and the file was found. The file which before it could not be found. Do you know why it could not be found? Because he was not either aware he is supposed to do something else to make the file be able to move. But now the file came, and momentarily it was approved, and he got his foreign exchange. I always remember that case, and indeed, Your Excellency, it drove me because I became part of the team in the mid-90s, because after that I left and joined the IMF. And I know even Salif was, if I recall correctly, you were in the World Bank. I was in your sister institution, the IMF. Then I came back to help the Kenyan government in terms of the reform. Those were the first areas we focused on to remove those exchange controls so that we have a free market where let the price be the basis on which you can be allocated foreign exchange, not these other monkey business of people wanting you to give something small in order to be able to get that. I always cherish that, and I feel I must have made a difference to the life of that person. So you, as young men and women, please let the candle of Kenya, let the flag of Kenya be flying where you are known to be champions of protecting public resources, and that it will make a difference and make us move forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct pleasure and high privilege to declare the pioneer cohort of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program duly inaugurated. Asante sana.
Let us give Dr. Kenywa more hearty clap. Thank you so much. We've listened to then young fellow Joseph Kenywa by then, and you've heard what he did. It is a challenge to all of us that you don't climb a tree from the top. You start from the bottom, climbing pole pole, and God will bless you. Thank you so much, sir, the Head of Public Service and the Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Joseph Kenywa, for delivering His Excellency's speech to us. Na asante sana. Once you go back to State House, mpe salamu zetu, mwambie tunampenda sana. Allow me to give a few exit protocol. One, I'll request Her Excellency to allow me conduct a session of photo, only 4 sets of photo, Your Excellency, Madam President, if you allow me, at the entry of KICC. I'll request the first photo to include the high table, bring on board Madam Yawa and the Head of Public Service, Ghana. That will be our first photo. The second photo will include the PSC Commission and the board members. The third photo will have the ELF and the EPL board and the team which are present. Then the constitutional commissioners who are with us will also give an opportunity, and then the cohorts will give an opportunity. As we agreed, as Her Excellency is leaving on the left, we rush on our right. Secondly, our second exit protocol procedure, we'll have a tete-a-tete briefly with the high table, the VIP at the high table, Station 1, at the VIP waiting room. Our protocol team, Mr. Kutoa and the team will guide them. That will include the officer seated at the high table, to be joined by Madam Yawa, the Head of Public Service Ghana, the Chair EACC, the Vice Chair, and the CEO PSC. We have Station 2, where that is at the first floor lobby. Will also be guided. Just go to first floor, you'll be guided. The EPL, the ELF delegates, board and the steering members, the PSC commissioners, the PSCs present, and the Director Generals who are present. Our third station, which is just next to where I'm announcing from, that is on my left. We've organized for snacks for all of us who are seated in. Kindly don't leave, because if you leave, it's plenty of it, you don't know where we'll take it. Kindly pass by, grab a glass of juice, a cup of tea, and some snacks as you go back to your workstation. Our request now will be upstanding as we come to the closure of our program, so that we may end our program with the Kenyan national anthem. The national anthem. Thank you so much, Public Service Commission Choir. Thank you so much for the well work done. We'll give way for Her Excellency to take leave. Cohorts, kindly we proceed as we said. The rest of us, kindly we hold until the principal guest leaves, so that we can also take our leave. Thank you so much. Band and the choir, kindly you can give us something as we are leaving. A lot of applause to Her Excellency for allowing to be with us today. Thank you so much, Madam President. Thank you so much for the work well done. Asante sana.
Ombombizi bora wa mama, amba wangu ndayanza. Ombombizi bora wa mama, amba wangu ndayanza. Ombombizi bora wa mama, amba wangu ndayanza. Ombombizi bora wa mama, amba wangu ndayanza.
Thank you very much. That is the end of our
our program this afternoon, where Public Service Commission, together with Emerging Public Leaders and Emerging Leaders Foundation, has inaugurated the first cohort of Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program, where 50 fellows who managed to get those slots will be going for 1 year training on leadership. And speaking on today's function, the former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has encouraged the young people to take the opportunity and become the leaders that this continent deserves, and take advantage of every moment that the program will bring, and even get the experience that they need for this opportunity. On a speech read on his behalf, the president has called on the organizers of this program to ensure that the cohorts learn more on technology and even see how the technology can make service delivery even easier. Even as he called on the young fellas, the 50 who managed to get the slots, to be the champions of efficiency in service delivery and on good governance. So that's it from here at KICC. 50 members or 50 young people will be taking that program on leadership, and the 1 year program will guide them more on service delivery and more specifically leadership. From KICC, my name is Beatrice Ketonyi-Ngetich. I take you back to the broadcasting house.
Vijana wafaidika. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Ili kupata skiza tune ya Sitoki Jikoni kwenye simu yako, dial *811 *816#.
We, umeingiaje kwa hii jikoni?
Wewe achana bwana, wewe ujui tulitokea wapi? Acha hata wewe